Let's talk all about realistic expectations when it comes to losing body fat. Now, what we're going to be talking about today is really going to help you out, especially if you're somebody that's so fixated on just seeing the number on the scale go down, which, let me remind you, that is the least most important variable ever when it comes to losing body fat. Trust me, and you're going to learn exactly what I mean as we continue on in today's episode. So, for starters, body fat, right? We all want to get in shape. We all want to lose weight. We all want to feel more confident taking our shirts off in public, maybe at the beach, maybe just cutting the grass, whatever the case may be, right? We all want to be healthier, you know? And so what we focus on at Heartletics is striving for that fat loss results, okay? Not weight loss. So let me talk about that for starters, okay? Weight loss and fat loss are two separate things completely. And once again, if you're only looking at the number on the scale and expecting that to go down week over week, right, expecting to lose weight, you're in for a very hard emotional journey. Trust me. Because body fat, weight loss, two different things, okay? And you need to understand this. Even with weight loss, even with fat loss, is that both things are not linear. So what does that mean? Well, nobody loses weight every single week, week after week, week after week, week after week, especially if they're doing something that is sustainable, okay? Now, if you're doing something that's, let's say, crash dieting or cutting out your carbs or fasting or tons of cardio, yeah, sure, you might be seeing the number on the scale go down, but at what cost? Because one, you're probably not doing something that's sustainable, and two, realistically here, you might be losing weight in a form of water, in a form of muscle that we're going to be talking about here in a little bit, okay? When it comes to somebody's body type and how they burn body fat, there's always going to be three different types of individuals, right? Some people are going to basically lose weight, hit a little stall, right? Lose weight, hit a little stall, lose weight, hit a little stall, lose weight, hit a little stall. That's individual A. Okay, but regardless, even though they had these stalls, they continued to push through and they got to their goals at the end of the day. Individual B, right, they might lose some weight, gain a little bit of weight, lose some weight, gain a little bit of weight, lose some weight, gain a little bit of weight, lose some weight. Once again, right, did they lose weight every single week? Did they burn body fat every single week? Absolutely not. But consistency, they were able to reach their goals because they did not give up. And that last individual, somebody like myself, which is why I don't step on the scale, which is why I don't track anything really. I just go off of how I look and how I feel with my shirt off and how I look in the mirror and how my clothes fit, because that is the most important form of variables when it comes to progression here, okay? And I'll explain that more as we progress. But somebody like myself, right, individual C, I might lose some weight, hit a little stall, gain some weight, lose some weight, hit a little stall, gain some weight, lose some weight, hit a little stall, gain some weight, lose some weight. So once again, if you're only looking at the number on the scale, expecting to see that go down, but you don't understand that it's not linear, you don't understand how your body type burns body fat effectively, you're going to be in for an emotional rude awakening. Because think about it. You could be doing all the right things under the sun, and you just might be, hey, that's just how your body type is when it comes to losing body fat. Which means, once again, you might be doing all the right things, but just because you're doing the right things, hey, you can't change how your body type burns body fat, how it metabolizes body fat, you know? Sure, you can do things to speed it up, but at the end of the day, if you're hitting this little stall, it's okay, right? Just continue to push through and you're going to get to your goals. You're going to get to your end destination, all right? But if you're only looking at the number on the scale, and you're thinking to yourself, oh man, the number on the scale went up, right? Or I must be doing all the wrong things because I'm not losing any weight this week. Well, think about it, right? You might be sabotaging yourself mentally and just completely going back to your old ways, right? And quitting and throwing in the white towel and just giving up completely. We see that all the time. That's why we always educate and always inform people to have an open mindset when it comes to losing body fat, right? And having realistic expectations. So what's the difference before we continue between weight loss and fat loss? Well, for starters, fat loss is losing primarily just body fat, and that's what we strive to focus on at Heartletics. Now, weight loss could be, yes, losing some body fat in there, but it could be also losing water. Like, think about it. If you cut out your carbohydrates store water, you see the number on the scale go down, you might instantly be thinking like, oh yes, I'm losing weight. You're absolutely correct. You are losing weight. But what is that weight that you're actually losing? It's water. It's not like it's body fat. This is why when somebody starts a ketogenic diet or goes, cuts out their carbs immediately, it's that shiny object syndrome, because they immediately start seeing some results, start seeing some success. But little do they know, there's a big difference between weight loss and fat loss. Now, other things out there, if let's say you're not eating enough of the right foods, right? You're in way too low of a calorie deficit. Guess what? You might actually be losing muscle, which is going to slow down your metabolic rate. It's going to slow down your metabolism over a long period of time. Tons and tons of cardio, intermittent fasting, you combine all this to be in this huge calorie deficit where your body's not getting enough macronutrients and micronutrients to actually burn body fat effectively. And instead, it's actually losing its muscle, which isn't good for anybody, right? So that's why I always say food equals fuel. So here's some things to keep in mind, okay? For starters, you look at yourself every single day in the mirror, plain and simple, right? So it's going to be very hard for you to say, oh man, I'm losing weight here. Oh man, I'm losing weight here. Oh man, I'm seeing the fat loss here. No, realistically, what's going to happen is, and this is why we always educate people to, track their body fats, track their weights, but also track their progress photos week over week. So that way, guess what? We can say, hey, it's been 4 weeks. Look at the results. Look at the difference. You can't see that difference, honestly, because you see yourself every single day. Like, think about it, right? Like, you're going to be making these small little strides, these small little progress, right? Day over day, week over week, right? And over the course of the next 4 weeks, you're going to say, oh man, I don't really see much of a difference. But if you happen to compare yourself to where you were week 1 compared to where you were week 4, you're going to see a huge night and day difference. So remember, this is why people might see you, right? Or let's say they haven't seen you in quite some time. They're instantly going to see a difference in you first before you see it. Second, don't trust the number on the scale. And the main reason why I'm telling you that is because for most people out there that get signed up for our coaching program, think about it. They have a slow metabolism. They're eating next to nothing. They don't know how to train properly to put on muscle, to speed up their metabolic rate, everything like that. And so they're transferring, right, the body fat into lean muscle tissue. So the number on the scale might not go down at all, but your body fat will. Think about it. Muscle weighs more than fat. And so if you're only going off of the number on the scale, that's it. Not progress photos, not how you look and not how you feel, not energy, not, strength gains inside the gym, and nothing like that. You're only going off the number on the scale. You could be self-sabotaged by just basically shooting yourself in the foot, because 1 week, if let's say you're eating more protein, doing some more, resistance training, putting on that lean muscle tissue, which you should be focusing and you should be doing, right? That's all the great signs of progression here for long-term success. If you're only going off the number on the scale, you see that number on the scale jump up, you're instantly going to be thinking to yourself, oh man, I'm doing all the wrong things, when you're actually doing all the right things. This is why it's difficult for people when they first get started off inside of our coaching program, because they're eating more food, they're using their bodies, they're using their muscles, and they're instantly, the first few weeks, it might actually see gains, right? The number on the scale go up, right? Weight gain. But little do they know, it's actually them putting on muscle, right? And it's going to be burning body fat over the long course of the time. This is called metabolic adaptation. And sometimes when you have a slow metabolism, you have to go a few steps back. It takes anywhere from, 3 to 6 weeks per individual, right? Based on their lifestyle, based on their habits, training, consistency, nutrition, recovery, sleep, everything like that. 3 to 6 weeks for somebody's body's metabolism to really speed up. So those first few weeks, you might be going a few steps back. But think about it. Once your metabolism is, sped up properly and it's efficient again at burning body fat, you're going to be 10, 15, 20 steps ahead compared to where you were. This is why we always say, hey, consistency is key, and think about the long-term things. Don't think about just the short-term results. Napoleon said it best. People give up what they want the most for what they want now, Let me repeat that. People give up the most, right? What they want right now. So what does that mean? Well, somebody might want to see the number on the scale just go down instantly. And so they're doing everything like intermittent fasting, tons and tons of cardio, cutting out their carbs, just to see that number on the scale go down. But long term, it doesn't help them out because it's not sustainable. They just want to see that quick win. And so we always tell people is like, look into the things of the long scheme of things. Now, another great realistic expectation when it comes to fat loss is obviously we talked about body fat trends. We talked about the difference between weight loss versus fat loss. We talked about the difference as far as, hey, other people are going to see a difference in you first. That's why it's important that you're tracking your progress, right, in form of photos, body fat, everything like that, and recording that data so you can see your trends. But two other things I want to kind of mention is one, think about it like this, and this is a great analogy I like to use because everybody always wants to, Joe, I want six-pack abs. Joe, I want six-pack abs. Joe, I want abs. I want abs. I'll say it like this, right? You can train your core as much as you want, and sure, it's going to help you put on that lean muscle tissue, but you cannot spot reduce body fat. You can't. I will personally, right, me, and I'm sure for you as well, you, me, everybody will never see somebody that has, a double chin, fat cheeks, fat arms, fat rolls on their legs, but six-pack abs. That person does not exist, only in video games probably, right? The reality is this, right? You have all these organs inside of you, and it wants to store the body fat, right, for protection purposes, but also that, muffin top, the lower abs, right, the midsection. This is always the last little bit, right, it's going to store it right there the most, right? That's just how it is for guys, how it is for ladies, right? Like, your body's going to store the body fat the most in the midsection. That's it. So think about it like this. You are going to be losing more body fat in your face, in your shoulders, in your arms, in your upper back, in your legs, before the midsection, before the muffin top, the love handles, so to speak. A great analogy that I want you to think about is a big Olympic-sized pool. And let's say there's a little kid and he has a bucket, right? And he's at the edge of the pool. He's taking that bucket, he's dipping it right inside the water, and then he's throwing that water outside of the pool, right, onto the concrete. And he's doing that for let's say 10 minutes straight of just putting the bucket in, dipping it out, putting the bucket in, dipping it out. Well, what happens to that big body of water? Is it just, all flat, and then wherever he is that, is dumping the water out, there's like a dip down? It's like, no. All the water goes down simultaneously at once. And that's how it works with body fat. Meaning yes, you are completely losing body fat in your midsection, but you're also losing it here. You're also losing it there. You're also losing it elsewhere, right? It's just the midsection is always the hardest, right? The last little bit to go. And you just got to understand, that's just how it is. Now, you can do things, obviously, like training out your core, right? Obviously, creating more blood flow to create more lean muscle tissue in there to help you out with more muscle density. That does help, right? But realistically here is just you have to come to terms with expectations that are, realistic, plain and simple. So what should you be focusing on? Let's say you're doing all the right things that we talk about Heartletics, right? Going over the 7 essential fat loss habits for success. You're sticking within your calories, right? Which means you're eating enough of the right foods. You're staying within that calorie deficit. You're making sure that you're sticking with your macronutrients, specifically just your protein. Let's say that you're doing your resistance training. You're getting in plenty of steps for the NEAT, the non-exercise activity thermogenesis. You're focusing on hydration, which is huge, a great part to all this. You're focusing on the sleep, the recovery, stress management, everything like that. Basically just following through with everything that we talk about Heartletics, Here's what you should be focused on. How you look and how you feel. That is all. If let's say you got six-pack abs and you're walking down the street one day on a hot summer day, nobody is going to look at you and say, holy cow, how much do you weigh? No one's going to say that. Realistically, somebody might say, holy cow, you look great. What is it that you do? How can I look like that? No one's ever going to ask you for your weight. The only time you ever kind of need your weight is obviously for certain kind of calculations and going to just see a doctor, so to speak. You should be focused on how you look and how you feel. Because if you're only focusing on the number on the scale, that is self-sabotage. And once again, you're going to be shooting yourself in the foot here. Because how you look, and what does that mean? Well, hey, how do I look in the mirror? How do I look, with my birthday suit? How do I feel also? Not just with my clothes and energy levels, but strength gains in the gym. Am I getting PRs? That's a great sign that you're obviously getting stronger, which means, hey, you're putting on even more muscle, which is great overall to speed up your metabolism. If let's say you have more energy to play with your kids, like these are the finer things in life that we should be more focused on, not the number on the scale. Because somebody could be 200 pounds and let's say they're 35% body fat, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, maybe even type 2 diabetes. They got the man boobs, they got, the beer belly, the whole 9 yards. And then somebody could be 200 pounds like myself, right? Chiseled chest, 6-pack abs, right? Tons of energy, constantly hitting PRs in the gym, living my best life. So it's just like, don't go off the number on the scale because 200 pounds fat versus 200 pounds muscular, two separate things. What you should be focusing on is burning body fat. And as long as you're doing the right things, then understand this. Hey, trust the process. Have some faith. It's all going to work out in the end. Just don't try to rush the process here. Don't try to, I'm going to cheat the system and do this to see faster results. You don't want to risk, remember. Right? The sustainability here, that's the key. That's the foundation of what we focus on at Heartletics. Just like Napoleon said, right? People give up what they want the most for what they want right now. So sometimes you got to think about the long-term success. And how do you have that long-term success? It's very simple. Do something that you enjoy doing. Do something that is sustainable. Do something that makes you feel good. It's making you look good. And guess what? You're having fun during that whole entire process. If you can continue to do that, right, and not get the emotions tied into the number on the scale and understand how your body fat burns, how your body type burns body fat. Remember the 3 different types of trends here. Once you get that all kind of mapped out, it's literally just showing up each and every day. And if you can continue to do that, consistency is key. You're going to get the results you're looking for.